You want me to put that on my Tudor?
Harry's wife. The paranoia. It's often said, just because you're paranoid, it doesn't mean they're not out to get you. And Camilla Long, writing in the Times, identifies the question of paranoia as being a problem for Harry and Harry's wife with her title, "The biggest threat to Harry and Harry's wife isn't paparazzi on bicycles, it's their own paranoia." Let's examine whether Ms. Long is correct, and if she is, where does this paranoia come from, and what purpose is it serving? A while from now, when it is all over, I think we may view the royal car chase not as a silly bit of tabloid fluffery, but as a turning point. You may feel differently. You may think there were other bigger moments when you knew it had gone terribly wrong for Harry and Harry's wife. Oprah, or recollections may vary, or Netflix, or the Tights catfight, the Fijian market freakout, the MBS diamond earrings, the suicidal thoughts at Cirque du Soleil, or the penis-heavy content of Spare. But never before have I actually thought, well, that's it, it's over. They've gone the full Imelda Marcos now. They are literally crazed. On a one-way flight out of God knows where, stuffing diamonds into nappies as they flee the presidential palace, children howling, soldiers falling off collapsing walls, choppers, gunfire, pearls scattering, everyone watching agog as these glittering creatures, once on top of the world, now look washed up and hopeless, like bedraggled, fallen despots. And yet, that's what I thought at 3:30 p.m. on Wednesday, when they released a statement saying they'd had a near-catastrophic car chase in Manhattan, when, basically, they hadn't. The utter tastelessness of it. Who does that? It was mad. I'm not going to go over the chase minute by minute. You can read the many live feeds, grids, diagrams, graphs, explainers, debates, interviews, post-match analyses, etc. elsewhere. All you need to know is that on Tuesday, just after the couple left an awards ceremony with Harry's wife's mother, at which Harry's wife was given an award for being a woman of vision, they claimed they were subjected to a highly aggressive car chase around the same few blocks for 2 whole hours. Why did it take so long? Mainly because the couple hysterically used 3 separate cars. They left the ceremony in a 4x4 with a police escort, circling for 75 minutes to give the paps the slip, before fleeing to a nearby police station when they didn't. At the station they hid for 15 minutes in a garage until someone called a taxi. When the taxi got stuck behind a rubbish lorry, they went back to the same police station, where they got into a final vehicle, which took them on to where they were staying, just 2 blocks away. As I said, mad. All these places were within walking distance. Nothing could have been easier. But still, we are meant to believe it's the paps who were behaving like demented animals, driving on pavements, endangering pedestrians, causing multiple near collisions, as they pursued them with cars, scooters and bicycles, bringing the Duke the closest I have ever felt to understanding how his mother died. Yet, as the New York police put it dryly later, there were no reported collisions, summonses, injuries or arrests. The taxi driver who drove them for 15 minutes said the details had been exaggerated. Nothing they said about their night now seems real. I don't just mean the couple's statement, clearly written by Harry's wife. I'd recognise those roiling Disney descriptions, relentless pursuit, anywhere. But the phony, ridiculous award she was collecting, the fear, drama, danger, it was all fake. I wasn't going to write about the royals, but this is all just too appalling. It's bad for us to have people constantly claiming things have happened when they haven't. The drip, drip of conflicting information. Sorry. Truth. The truth is, that taxi chase is Harry and Harry's wife. It is their mindset, their paranoia, their chaos, their attempt to label themselves as victims again. If you watch their Shitflix series, you can see how they egg each other on to the point they forget how to behave normally. During one short car journey, Harry's wife tells Harry where each paparazzo is, effectively notifying him when to be scared. When he nervously whispers, "We'll be with friends in less than 10 minutes, I blame him as much as her. They are now in a lunatic downward spiral of fiction and fantasy. Ironically, you think, are you okay? Why, for example, did they feel threatened when they had a police escort the entire time? Should Harry's obsession with photographers be the police's problem? If Harry's wife is truly a woman of vision, why couldn't she envision a simple problem-free trip to the Upper East Side where they were staying with a secret friend? And why, the next day, when the story wasn't going their way, did they think it would be a good idea to demand copies of all photos, videos and or films taken by the photographers? The photo agency laughed in their faces. Don't they know how pictures work? Harry should. An agency won't hand over material simply because third parties demand it be given to them, as perhaps kings can do. They're not in the palace anymore. When Harry's wife arrived on the scene, we all thought the same thing. Finally, an intelligent, worldly, sophisticated woman who was in love with Harry. And if she was the activist she said she was, so much the better. She could quietly show up the royal family for what it was, snobby, backwards, uncool, mediocre and fair. And then, who knows what? She could have been a truly subversive figure and created it from the inside. Long stream. But none of that has happened. What happened is the royal family has conversely shown Harry's wife and Harry up for what they are, a pair of wayward hangers-on with unhealthy egos. The more the family trundles on, the more enraged the couple seems. For 3 weeks we've been waiting. How would Harry's wife punish Charles for daring to have the coronation? And here's the answer. What must the royals think when they see the grotty pictures of the Sussexes in a grim taxi on their Mercy flight out of Manila? Sorry, Midtown. Those are the observations of Camilla Long, identifying the paranoia that drives them. The pair of them are paranoid. Harry's paranoia comes from two places. Firstly, he has an innate suspicion of the media, which is actually founded on actual experience, and linked, of course, to the scar that he has experienced as a consequence of his mother's death, which he places firmly at the door of the paparazzi. Accordingly, it has made him suspicious, hateful, and paranoid of the media, the press, the paparazzi. However, his paranoia then becomes stoked by two additional factors. One, his drug intake will not be helping him, and secondly, the behaviour of his wife, as she manipulates his paranoia, plays upon it, exaggerates it, exacerbates it, in order to make him easier to control. Thus, Harry's paranoia comes from an actual place of evidence, but is exacerbated by other factors. What about Harry's wife's paranoia? Well, as a narcissist, she's naturally paranoid. It's part of the kit, if you will. In order to cause her to look out for threats to control, she has to be paranoid. In order to cause her to nullify those threats to control, she has to be paranoid. In order to maintain the assertion of control over people, she must be paranoid. And therefore, her paranoia, the belief that someone somewhere is going to cause a problem, is looking at her funny, is taking a picture when they ought not to do, is lurking with malicious intent, is generated by her narcissism to make her act to get to the prime aims, principally that of control. Thus, riddled with her own paranoia driven by her narcissism, she sees a problem where there isn't one. Her paranoia also causes her to use it against Harry. There's someone lurking in that bush, Harry, call the sheriff. What was that bang, Harry? There's somebody outside, call the sheriff. Where are the paparazzi? They're lurking somewhere nearby, aren't they, Harry? Where are they? They're chasing... Who's that man on the bike? That chap on the pizza scooter. Looks suspicious. They're out to get us. As I've explained previously in the footage from the Shitflix series, they looked like a pair of meerkats looking around all of the time to see who was watching. She believes that people are out to get her, and she uses that against Harry, whose own existing paranoia becomes increased by the way that she behaves. I do regard the events of last week as the point at which they've jumped the shark. Whilst there'll still be a rump of idiots who think that they were truly being pursued, I think more and more people have thought that is so utterly ridiculous, and so quickly have so many people poo-pooed what their version of events is, that there really is no going back for them now. I'm H.G. Tudor. Thank you for listening.